We are back.
Once again. It's
Yes.
been a while.
It's been a while. We had the LTC stream going on. We went to Prague for the Grail series, record some tournament content. We're back with 2 fancy decks.
Yes.
And we're back with an official sponsorship from Dragon Shields.
Long in the making.
Yes.
We have been trying for that for a long time. We've been playing their sleeves forever.
Forever.
Great sleeves. The best sleeves on the market,
Yeah.
in our opinion.
Yeah.
And we, that's, we try not to, we don't do any sponsorships that we don't stand behind fully.
Exactly.
And we stand behind Dragon Shields.
And we actually had some other brands approach us, and we tried their things, and they were not good.
Yeah.
So we said, we will stick to this, and we always promoted them, even if there was this coloration was not going on. So here we are, today with the Dragon Shield mat, blood red, forest green. I think the forest green is rather new. Cool colors, check them out.
Yeah.
We have a link in the description. You can use our code for a small discount. Yeah, that's that. Thanks a lot to Dragon Shield for your trust. Let's have a look at the decks that we're playing today. As you can see, it's Super Shredder in the focus.
In the focus, this is one of those very pushed cards.
Yes.
We had Moonshadow come out.
Yeah.
And most of us playing Duel Commander have had experiences where opponent plays a turn 1 Moonshadow and you're dead turn 3, turn 4, just because it's so much pressure.
Yeah.
And this guy's the same, even better. And
yes,
I mean, he scales faster.
The thing is, it counts your board.
Yeah.
With Moonshadow, you have these. It depends on the deck, right? When we look at Asmo, you have the
For
aspect
Asmo,
of
you have the
discarding permanence, which also triggers the card. But yeah, there's legendary printed on the card. Originally, we wanted to show Zephyroth. I was playing a bit with the deck. I had a cool list. Ended up deciding to go for the Shredder. I saw this on MTG Top 8, and I thought it was a cool list, simply because I think Sephiroth is just not up to today's Magic. There's a lot of durdling around with the Aristocrats plan.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to show you games going 1.5 hours and basically nothing happens. Yeah. Because that's what the deck basically does.
The big issue with Sephiroth, we talk all the time about tempo advantage.
Yeah.
And when you kill your own stuff, you put yourself in such a tempo advantage. Even if you're drawing cards and gaining life, it puts you behind on the board a lot of the time, and that's just not what we're
and I mean,
doing.
The fact is, you try to abuse his ability, so you play all those cards that have Undying and things like this, or bring several tokens. But, if your commander is not on board, you just play a bunch of rather bad cards.
Yeah.
So here we are with Super Shredder. As I said, have a look at the list. I didn't change anything. I just took it as it was. There might be some debatable includes, but I think overall it's capable of doing things. Yeah.
And I am piloting Flubs the Fool.
At the Volcano. It's called Flubs at the Volcano, actually.
Ah, okay. Flubs at the Volcano. This is member voted?
Yeah, it's we had some voting some time ago with 4 commanders, and you should choose 3 of them. We decided so originally we want to have all 3 in one session, but we said, let's do the 4. And we will separate that over the course of the next focus sessions.
Yeah.
So the first one of the 4 is Flubs today.
Absolutely. We have a Valakut plan built in to this list. The Storm list kind of got banned to oblivion.
Yeah.
And now we are looking at trying to get a Dryad of the Elysian Groves on the field and get a couple of bolts going with a Valakut. Has the kind of green-red lands package around it, which can do very powerful stuff on its own. And yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think apart from Tanuk, this is one of the few cards that is very happy to play the new Vibrance from Lorwyn.
Yeah.
You have the Land Tutor, you have the Bolt on stick. Really cool card. Fits perfectly into the game plan.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, we will decide who starts first with our paper, scissors, rock.
Yes.
I'm still happy that one of the guys in Prague approached us for a signature.
That was great.
That was really cool. Ooh, I will start.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably not to your advantage.
No, I
Most
think
of the time it's not.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. We'll resolve mulligans and be back.
Yep. We're back.
We are back.
Both on 7 cards, I assume.
Yes.
And we will see how that goes. I think I'll start us off with a Boggart Trawler going down to 17. I will swap that shortly after, going for a Ghost Vacuum. I think it's a fun card against you. You have some graveyard interactions, you have Crucible effects, you have Loomra and things like that. Pass the turn. So that's definitely not useless.
All right, I will draw. I will Polluted Delta for a tropical island and cast a expedition map. Pass the turn.
End of turn, exile your Polluted Delta.
Yep.
Then my turn. I think we shouldn't wait for too long. Unfortunately, I have to fetch. And then I will proceed with the Super Shredder.
Yep.
And I will also play a Mishra's Bauble.
That's pretty good.
That I will crack directly to look at the top card of your hand. Top card of your library, actually. I have a trigger here. All right. I will pass the turn and I will draw a card in your upkeep.
I will draw for turn. I think I can start off with a pass.
Okay. No cards in graveyard. Then I will draw. Go to combat?
Yep.
Take for 2.
Take 2.
I will play another tapped land. Haven't played this card for quite some time. And I think I will cast a Forsaken Miner and a Shadow Spear.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
I will crack the expedition map.
Trigger?
Yep. Hall of Godor?
Yeah, something like that. We just talked about in the Tifa chat recently about the biggest
Draw for turn.
Things to, like the biggest effect that Embiggen would grant on a card. This is yet another print with 5 types, because Sandman has actually the card type Sand, which gives it +5/+5, or an Embiggen would give it +5/+5.
Not really. Yeah, okay. I think I just have to Besage the Ghost Vacuum.
Yeah, in response, I would like to exile the Besage.
Yep.
Then it happens. I have the trigger on stack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll play a Gruul Turf, bounce the Otawara back to my hand, and pass the turn.
Have a play end of turn? No. I do not. Draw for turn. Then I have a very crucial play. I have a Rain of Tears for the Gruul Turf.
Yeah, I mean, I can concede, but we can play it out as well.
We can play it out. I have a trigger here. I will attack for 7. And I pass the turn.
Yeah. I will play a Tree of Tales and an Aftermath Analyst. Mill 3 cards. And it's your turn.
Draw. Did you mill?
Shifting Woodland, an Amulet of Vigor, and a Lightning Bolt.
Okay. So that's 7, 8. Not exactly. I will long goodbye the Aftermath Analyst. Have a trigger. Then I will cast an Emperor. Beginning of combat, I will exile your Shifting Woodlands, I guess.
Okay.
And attack for 8.
Okay, I'm at 2.
Pass the turn.
I will play an Otawara and an Augur of Autumn and pass the turn.
Do you have something else?
No.
Okay.
What else could I have?
Because this guy has menace.
You
Then
have.
you die in
Yeah,
combat. Okay, good, yeah,
I was dead 3 turns ago.
Okay,
There
okay.
was.
All right.
Yeah.
Then we will move over to the second round.
Yeah. I kept a hand with Aftermath Analyst, Walk-in Closet, Ice Hill Explorer, and your first play is a Ghost Vacuum. So I've lost the game already there.
My
Cost me 3 turns of tempo to kill the.
kill it. Yeah.
And
my reason to keep the hand was the Rain of Tears, and then I saw the Gruul turf on top with the Mishra's Problem, and I thought, well, that ties perfectly into it.
Yeah.
All right, we will go over to the second round.
Yep.
Okay. We're back to round 2.
Yep.
Rain of Tears got me a very quick round 1.
Yep.
In combination with the bounce land that Samuel played. Let's see. Maybe we'll have a better show.
I mean the thing that won the game there was
the Ghost Vacuum.
Vacuum. Yeah. Because I had a handful of stuff that needed cards in graveyard, and didn't get. I will get a Tiger.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'll get a basic forest, and put a Utopia Sprawl on this naming blue.
All right.
Then it's your turn.
All right. Then I'm going to.
Sorry, wait. I have to get a Tiger. I will get a Tiger.
Yeah, sure. I fetch for a swamp. Play a Stalactite Stalker. And end of turn, I will have a trigger.
Yep.
It's your turn.
Untap. Draw. Yeah, against a 1-drop, that's not very good, but I think I have to. I'll play an Oko.
Okay.
Uptick him for a food.
Yep.
And pass the turn.
All right. So the Utopia Sprawl has blue on it, yeah?
Yes, it does.
There you go. Okay. I will have a look at your hand.
So you see a Hexing Squelcher, an Aftermath Analyst, and a Life from Below, and a land.
I think the best card might be the Aftermath Analyst here. Then I will have a Bauble again. I will attack you for 2.
Take 2.
I will correct the Bauble end of my main phase.
Yeah.
And end of turn I will have a trigger.
Okay.
And your upkeep I draw a card.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go.
Draw. Yeah, I think you have no mana open, so I will do the classic Oko swap for the Stalker.
Yep.
Stalker is tapped.
Yep.
Yes,
it's
sorry,
okay.
it's difficult. Yeah, I will Life from the Loam the Misty back to my hand, play the Misty, fetch, and shock. The shock is for a Stomping Ground, and play the Hexing Squelcher. Then it's your turn.
All right, draw cards.
At end of turn, I have a trigger.
Because of the fetch land.
Yes.
I will play a Thoughtseize.
You see a Keen-Eyed Curator.
Then I will take the Curator, lose 2 life.
Sort of happy that's gone, because that makes my land, my spell casting duties a bit easier.
Yeah, I think with the Loam, this time not too impressive. I will get rid of your Tiger.
Yay!
Then I pass the turn.
Then I will Dredge the Loam.
I think I didn't think about using Oko's ability right away.
Then I will cast the Loam.
Yeah.
Get back Passage, Tiger, Misty.
Yeah.
Play Misty.
Yeah.
Fetch for the blue-green surveil land. And
attack for 6.
Attack for 6.
Yeah.
And then end of turn, this guy will go up.
All right.
You can take your turn, but I'll finish surveilling at some point.
Sure.
So if you want to, that's also okay.
I will play my commander.
Does the blue-red surveil land.
And then I will pass a turn.
Oh, I forgot to uptick Oko. He makes a food.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that card is fine. Draw for turn. Combat. Attack with these two.
No blocks. I will go for the Throat Your Stalker. Trigger Hexing Square, pay 2 life.
Yeah.
Then I have a trigger on the Shredder.
I will Elk the Shredder.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Play the Tiger. Play Flubs. Play Multiversal Passage, discard Pit of Offerings, untapped, paying
2 life.
Paying 2 life. This will be a mountain.
Okay.
And I will take edge the Takenuma. Yeah, your turn.
My turn. Play a Caustic Bronco. Pass the turn.
Draw for turn.
Yeah.
So I am casting one of these spells. So it will be... This is red, this is green. Play Renin 6. Discard Formidable Speaker.
Yeah.
Uptick Renin 6. Get back the Tech Edge. Play Tech Edge, trigger, draw a card. Life from the Loam.
Okay. There goes the Prismatic Omen.
There does go the Prismatic Omen. Loam.
Yeah.
Draw a card.
Yeah.
And my targets are the 3 lands I have in graveyard. And then I will play a land. Discard Commercial District.
Yep.
Fetch. Yeah, let's get a Volk. And then crack the Tech Edge to kill the Urbok.
Yep.
Then I have an Oko activation still, which I will use to elk the food.
Okay. End of turn, I crack the food.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. Then I will settle the Bronco.
Yep.
And I will attack Oko, have a trigger.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can go to game 3.
I would block the...
Yeah. I don't get around the planeswalkers here anymore. I did the mistake with not
with the
like
stalker.
no one ever uses this ability usually anymore.
Yeah.
But in this situation, it was good to do it.
Yeah.
Or at least from my experience, it rarely happens.
It happens pretty rarely, but
very rarely.
But I know
I haven't had it in mind.
You don't have much haste play, and
It was a right play. I should have just attacked Oko, and I think then would have never been a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But okay, it was an honest mistake. We will go over to game 3. Okay. We're back.
We are.
With mediocre hands on both sides. We
Yes.
both had to mulligan aggressively. But, you at some point you have to stop. I will just play the land and pass the turn.
Okay.
No Thoughtseize on turn 1.
No Thoughtseize on turn 1. That's good. I will shock myself and play a expedition map and pass the turn.
Okay. I will draw a card, play a land, and I will play my Shredder.
That's good.
Pass the turn.
Untap, draw, play an Echoing Deeps without copying anything, and cast a Prismatic Omen.
Oh,
pass the turn.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
So there might be a Valakut around the corner at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit to get there, but we'll see.
You never know. Attack for 1. Surprisingly.
Take 1.
Go ahead.
Okay.
No big interaction with that. Right.
Then
Duskmorn.
I think it's okay to play Flubs.
Yeah, it is okay.
And then play a Vesuva to copy the Mazavith.
That's cool.
And discard a Lumbra. Pass the turn.
Discard a Lumbra. 1 card left. Yeah.
Yep.
I would like to untap, draw. That's interesting. I will cast an Accursed Marauder. Then I have 2 triggers on the Shredder.
Yep.
Attack for 3.
1, 2, 3.
And I think I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw. I'll play a mountain and pass the turn.
So now you have a bunch of 2 Maze of Ifs actually, right?
Yep.
That is difficult to come through, I guess.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I see that. Nonetheless, I think I will cast a Turok, a kicked Turok.
A kicked Turok. This gets me 1 card deeper. How important is that? I will cycle a Sheltered Thicket.
Okay.
And then discard.
Then I get 2 triggers? Actually?
In response to him on the stack.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's not, you're not going to target yourself with the kicker ability. And then I will discard the Waterlogged Grove.
I mean, you could have also done that and grant me 1 more trigger, right? You could have.
Yeah.
But we're here for optimal plays, right?
Yeah.
Then there's no need to attack. I will just pass the turn.
Yeah. End of turn, I will crack the map.
Yeah.
You have a Shredder trigger.
That's correct.
I will get a Valakut.
That's what I thought.
And then hopefully make a bunch of land drops.
We'll see about that.
Eventually at some point. So, untap, draw for turn. Valakut, Bolt, Turok.
Yeah.
Your turn.
My turn. End of turn, I would like to cling your Sheltered Thicket.
endurance myself.
Okay. And that fizzles. Draw a card. Play a Stalker.
Yeah.
Pass the turn.
Untap. Draw. Cast Flubs. Play Talongate. Trigger, draw card. Trigger, bolt, Stalker.
Yep.
And trigger, phase out Flubs.
I have a trigger for him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pass the turn. So we're playing for the Flubs list mostly a member list, and we added just Prismatic Omen in order to, because I think just playing Dryad is not quite enough.
Yeah, totally.
And as you can see here, having the enabler for the Valakut does make a lot of difference. The board state would never get close to enough mountains as it is.
That is very true. Yeah, it's very difficult to beat the Maze of this.
I believe so. Yeah, I will draw for turn. Cast a Tireless Provisioner. Discard a Lotus Cobra. Then it's your turn.
Okay.
So this is one of the awkward things about Flubs is when you're at 2 cards, you just fizzle yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Cast a Toxic for X equals 5.
Yeah, no responses.
Okay, then I have 3 triggers. I have a very big Super Shredder.
Yeah.
But
gets lost in mazes.
Gets lost in mazes. I have another creature.
Yeah.
A Dowdy. Pass the turn.
I will draw.
Maybe that one will do something.
I think I have to tap out of mazes.
Okay.
Cast a Green Sun's X is 6.
Yeah, then it goes inside here.
It doesn't enter the graveyard ever.
That is correct.
So my X is 6 is going to search for a Primeval Titan.
That's to be expected.
And the Primeval Titan.
Some very good top decks here, by the way.
Yes.
On your side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
So, Primetime comes into play. Searches for Thespian Sage and Gruul Turf. 1 bolt will go here. And 1 bolt will go face. And with the Gruul Turf bounce, I will bounce the Maze of Earth, replay the Maze of Earth.
Why?
So that I can keep mazing the Shredder.
But why don't you bounce the Vesuva and make a second Valakut?
I have a stage.
Yeah, and then you have 3.
Yep, I win next turn anyway, on attack.
Okay. My turn?
Yeah. I do another 3 to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I have to find something here.
Because I don't want to go shields down to the Shredder.
Well, it doesn't one-shot you, but...
Yeah, but... I don't know.
I have to have like very specific interactions.
There could be things.
To make
this guy has Menace, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's 3 power there. If you have removal for the prime time...
Some things could happen.
There are things that could happen.
That's true. I think I will start by clinging something from my own graveyard, it seems. Exiling those 5 and then I cling the Bloodstained Mire. Trying to find That is unfortunately not enough. I drew Cable Pit and I have the
Mind Twist.
Mind Twist in hand all the time.
Yeah.
So GG.
GG.
In that. Yeah, this card is actually very bad against Flubs because you always have this dynamic of you actually want your opponent, as long as he's on field, you want your opponent to have 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Like the one that you keep in hand and the one that you draw, because
Yeah.
if you're down to 0 or 1 card, then you will always refuel. And especially with 2 Valakuts on the field, I don't want that to happen. Yep.
Yeah, so that was
the maze did it.
Turned out to be a good mulligan to 5. I kept the maze, and as you saw in the games before, he always had something to destroy a land. In the games before, he didn't have a way to do it this time. I drew the Vesuva as well to have 2 mazes, which kind of had that protection. So that was a good draw against
Definitely. I mean, the deck does play, if you have a look at the list, it does play Dust Bowl, Tech Edge, and things like this. They are here, but you know, once you bring down this guy, you did your triggers and stuff, then you have like a big beater.
Yeah.
But you can't really do something against Maze of if you don't draw your land destruction.
Yeah.
And you also don't have any access to card advantage. Basically, there's a Freakin' Arena inside, and I think a Skull Clamp.
And I managed to deny 1 card draw with
Not even sure about the Skull Clamp.
With the top decked Endurance.
Yeah.
Which didn't really do anything that game except deny that 1 card draw.
Yeah, I think the real deal now was the Green Sunstaining. The mazes, of course. The mazes, of course.
But I was, even without the Green Sunstaining, I was in a winning position. Any card I draw, any land I draw, bolts you or kills your creatures. And
you know, these days there are also, it doesn't even work against maze. I was thinking about, there are no black prevent combat damage effects.
Yeah.
And maze does actually remove the card from combat. So it doesn't matter either way, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting first round.
I think so, yeah.
A bit dirtly in a way, but yeah. If you're looking to play a funky frog, try it out.
Yep. I think there's, in my opinion, we were talking about the deck kind of outside and around. There's quite a bit of fine-tuning that could be done to this deck that would make it go a little bit in a different direction, which I would perceive as a little bit better than the plan that we're playing now. For example, the Aftermath Analyst type cards. I don't think there's enough support for those.
Yeah, I think so too.
Either you want to play more cards that mill you, or you want to cut cards like Lumra.
I mean, Lumra is okay. Lumra itself is a fine card to keep, but
then Splendid Reclamation is kind of
I know what you're going for, and also I don't really like the amulet effects are a bit random. I mean, my problem with the list as it is right now is that it tries to occupy too many gameplays at once. You know, you should focus on like 1 or 2 things and try to do that very good.
Yeah.
Instead of like running 4 things at the same time, and then you're going to dilute either of those game plans. I think that's a bit the problem of this list right now.
Yeah, I think I've played a little bit a long time ago, but kind of looking at a teamer control game plan that wins with Valakut.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as controlling as that you're playing a lot of counterspells or something like that, but this kind of mid-range deck that gets to a Valakut and then just gets to roast whatever the opponent plays. That is what we saw here, which can be a very strong game plan. And in that game plan, you don't need to be playing cards like Lumra or Splendid Reclamation or Amulet of Vigor. And cards that get you to that point more consistently are better.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that's for another day, but like one closing word, we saw that when we were casting Gidrock 2 times at the tournament, the Clash of Commanders, that all the lands decks right now are trying to squeeze in the entire Lumra shell because that's currently the best that lands decks can do.
Absolutely.
Then again, as we said,
but the black game plan supports that much better.
Definitely.
So in Gitrog, I like it because a demonic tutor can get you the missing piece. Lumra has a bunch of the lands come into play untapped effects now, but if it's trying to do its thing and it doesn't have those effects, then that's a problem. And in the Gitrog deck, you have a bunch of triggers to actually get to those cards as
Yeah,
well.
I
This
totally agree to
deck
you.
doesn't get to play those cards.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, funny list. Originally came from Finland, if I remember correctly. Cool idea to keep Flubs alive.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Ryan. You're also a big fan of this card. And maybe I'm pretty sure he watched this session here, and he will be happy that Flubs at the Volcano did it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
And see you next time.
Yes.